Hello again, chaps and chapettes. How are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, I'll try and keep this as brief as possible, my friends, as I know a lot of you out there are not interested in football, couldn't give two hoots about football, don't follow football. But I do want to briefly mention what has happened earlier this morning. Now, Liverpool striker Diogo Jota, 28 years old, has sadly lost his life in a car crash over in Spain along with his younger brother. And I just want to emphasise that this man, 28 years old, which is basically for a striker the prime of your career if you're a footballer, he was probably going to be moved on during the summer if he didn't sadly, tragically lose his life. But nonetheless, prime of his career, earning a good wage packet, only just got married 5 weeks ago, got 3 kids, and his life just gone. Now I know this is an old cliche, and everyone's said it for many, many years, decades, probably even centuries maybe, that life is indeed too short. And I have to reiterate, guys, you have to hold the people you love dearest very, very close to you, because life is indeed very fragile. It can end in an instant, just like that. Fate has, I believe, carved a pathway for all of us. We all have our deaths cemented in stone, I believe, from the moment we're born. It's just a matter of when and how this does indeed happen. I hope most people in this world live a very long and fruitful life, spend a lot of time with their family, friends, kids, see their grandkids, play with the grandkids, become grandparents, all that kind of jazz. But unfortunately, some people in this world die at very young ages. We're talking about 28-year-olds, for example, and children even, who get leukemia and various other illnesses, run over by cars, mauled by dogs. I mean, there's a whole host of ways that young people can die. Now, I do feel somewhat of a little bit of a hypocrite saying this to people. Hold the people you love dearest closest to you, give them hugs, show appreciation to them, because you just don't know when they are not going to be around anymore. This is coming from someone who is basically estranged from his own mother and father for very good reasons. I have no interest in having anything to do with any of my parents. I wasn't abused or anything like that, sexually or physically. Well, 1 or 2 times physically during my youth, punched in the chest, hair pulled, stuff like that. But they were young parents, I know that's no excuse. But yeah, that's the way it was back in the early 80s, and yeah, the depression of not having any money must have got to them, and yada yada yada. But that's still no excuse, but I forgive them personally. It's just a whole torrent of shit that's been going on between us throughout my whole life, not having anything to do with my kids, not coming up and visiting me from my hometown, like ever. That's my mother, really, my dad. Anyway, I'm going off a tangent here. And various other things that's happened with my family in the past. Like my nana and granddad, I was extremely close to my nana and granddad when I was growing up. They were basically to me, my parents. I worshipped my grandparents. And stupidly, when I was about 11 or 12 years old, my nana and granddad used to have this big coffee jar full of £2 coins at the time. And me, being the fucking idiot I was when I was that age, decided to steal some money out of it to go and buy football stickers, of all things. My nan and granddad found out about it a couple of weeks later. I was sat in their front room watching telly with them, and my granddad walks in with this jar, and my heart sunk because I knew what was coming. He placed it on the coffee table and just sat down quietly and carried on watching the telly. Didn't say a fucking word, but I could feel my face was beetroot red. I knew I had been clocked. I knew I was in some deep shit. Until eventually he did turn around and say, "Would you like to tell me anything about this?" And I broke down in tears, obviously. And ever since that day, when I was 11 to 12 years old, I have felt absolutely fucking rotten. Every single passing year, I even live with it now. I'm 42 years old now, and I still live with that guilt of taking that money simply for some fucking football stickers. Sadly, my granddad are no longer around, but it's still there in the back of my head. You have to appreciate the people who you love the most and appreciate the most. I cannot emphasize that enough, guys. I was so ashamed of disappointing my grandparents that it has lingered with me for the rest of my days, and it'll probably carry on lingering with me until the rest of my days. I saw my nan dying of lung cancer quite a few years ago now, and it was still in the back of my head. I stole money from this woman when I was 11 or 12 years old. I felt fucking rotten, and I still feel rotten now. Basically, all I'm saying is, guys, if you do have some kind of family feud with family or friends, do try your best to rebuild bridges and get back to the people you really do appreciate, because one of these days they simply may not be around anymore, and you'll run around, walking around for the rest of your life thinking, what could have been? What could I have done differently? Could I have repaired our friendship? Could I have repaired our relationship? Unfortunately, sometimes you'll just never know. That's all I want to say, really, guys. A little bit hippie, a little bit not really on my wavelength, heartfelt and all this shit, but I just wanted to bring this to you guys because the loss of life, especially at a young age, is very hard to take, especially for friends and family of that said person. I don't want any of you guys to be on the receiving end of something like that, or some guilt-ridden fucking shit that you've been carrying around with you for 30 odd years. That's my video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm off back to the grindhouse, back to work. I'll see if I can bump out a video when I get back at about 12, 1 o'clock, my usual time. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.